Nerdbox.
Hi, Fiends. Back in July, I was involved with the Waynesboro Nightmare on Main Street Film Festival. It was truly an honor to host the Scream Queen panel, which was made up of Helene Udy, Rita Christine, and the amazing Monique Dupree. It was such an honor to be involved with this group of women. And many, many thanks to Mirror Mel Bridges for filming it so I could share with it here. And I give you the Scream Queens. DonnaJean, and I have a podcast, DonnaJean's Coffee House of Horror. And I hope, possibly, maybe some of this will be showing up on it. Please help me to welcome the Scream Queens, because horror is not just a man's world. And we have with us Helene Udy, who you probably would know, and if you don't know her from My Bloody Valentine, why not? We have Monique Dupree, who is the true original Gata, as well as the first Black Scream Queen. And, you know, one of the things is I can't do personalized tips, so she's also my adopted daughter. And Rita Christine, who is an actor, a producer. She's got all kinds of stuff going on, and her booth is down. You can go check some of it out. And a couple of the films that these amazing ladies are in are going to be shown here this weekend, including Bloody Summer Camp with Rita, and My Bloody Valentine was shown last night. Were any of you guys here? All right, you rock. And two of Monique's films are going to be shown. That is Remnants
and Dead Woman's Hollow.
And Dead Woman's Hollow. I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask the ladies, and then we'll open it up. So make sure you each have one or two. So we can start with you, Rita. We'll kind of work this way down first.
Okay.
Did you always know that you wanted to be an actor, and if so, what got you interested in horror?
I always wanted to try acting. When I was younger, high school, I failed at drama club. I failed stage fright, froze. So I got put on sets and props and learned the back end of it. And I went into modeling after an injury when I was younger. I was told, oh, you'll never be on film, you'll never be able to model, you're not pretty enough. I did it to prove them wrong. Awesome. And I was in the right place at the right time for casting to be a background extra in a feature film. And it just stuck, being on camera as opposed to on stage in theater. Completely different feel. I loved it more. Worked on my craft, and I've got the longest for it. I do. Ask anybody in my house, I yell louder than anybody else.
That seems to go with the territory from what I heard. Helen, want to move on to you? Did you always know you wanted to get into acting? And was horror always the direction you went towards?
No, horror was not my direction of choice. Didn't say no. When I was in grade school, my theater teacher wrote a play and put me in the lead, and so I caught the acting bug just about then. And then my father coached me into theater school. And then also found all of my gigs. He was really when I think about it in retrospect, I don't even remember until I actually have to say it out loud that, geez, he was really behind me. He really coached me into theater school. I wouldn't have gotten into theater school without him. There's just no way. And then he found the movies, like a little line in the paper that they were auditioning for a show called Pinball Summer, directed by George Mahalka. And yeah, it's a long story, but anyway, I ended up on Pinball Summer, and then George Mahalka got me on My Bloody Valentine, so I just sort of followed George is how things happened, and here I am.
I have to admit, when I was rewatching My Bloody Valentine last night, the thing that went into my mind was, dang, you look so young.
I know. Yeah, I was young. I was 16 when I did that movie, so yeah, it was a long time ago. But it was really fun. Yeah.
Monique.
Well, I knew that I always wanted to be an entertainer. Horror was something that I always loved. My brother's in the business. He's Tony Todd. But the first film that I actually did was not a horror. It was Lean on Me, and it was also with my brother because he had a small part in it, but bigger than mine. And I kind of got bit by the acting bug then. And I only kind of fell into the horror genre later from Fangoria Radio with Dee Snider and Debbie Rochon. And I lost the Scream Queen contest, but ended up getting all the roles. So I guess it didn't matter if I lost. Lloyd Kaufman picked me up, and the rest is history with that, because I am definitely a trauma girl. I've done Shakespeare, Shitstorm, Pot Zombies. I do all of the little, I love those things. And Return to Nukem High, AKA Volume 2. But I've done like hundreds of films, but the horror genre is by far one of my favorites. So I actually love the horror genre.
And I know we have a number of indie horror people here, and indie horror is the way to go.
To me, just indie, I mean, we're indie everything. I've come from we have a big family, and we do everything independent. We do it ourselves, it's grassroots, and you know, we reap the benefits of our own. We put our 100% in and get it back out. Yeah. So that's kind of how we do things. And it's been working so far.
Back to Rita, what would you say was your favorite role that you've played so far?
It's a tough one, because between all the indie films that I've done, Mouse vs. Zombies, Return of the Slasher Nerds, and Bloody Summer Camp, they're my three favorite roles, because they're all different in their own way. Mouse vs. Zombies, I am a zombie. Actually, one of the actors that gets to take my head off is in here. That was a fun scene to actually film. Return of the Slasher Nerds, I play a cop. A serious role. Actually have all these lines, and I'm on the case, trying to figure out who's doing it. And then if you haven't seen it yet, well, maybe you need to see how it ends with me. And Bloody Summer Camp, y'all can check that out today, because that's showing tonight. But that one, I had a small role, but only because my original role was given to Felissa Rose. And I would gladly step down for her. I would gladly step down for multiple Scream Queens that I have much respect for. So, but I killed my scene. I did. At the premiere, according to my other half, said that the screams and the cheers during my scene were amazing.
Awesome. I'm anxious to see it.
Yeah.
We'll go to Ellen.
What was the question?
What was your favorite role?
What?
What was your favorite role that you played?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, you know, let's be honest. My Bloody Valentine was great because I was 16, and the cast and crew were so fantastic, and yeah, I love that little character. She was sweet, but more importantly, I just had fun. We took a plane and we landed in a place, and you know, we got to crawl through a mine, and you know, it was just a real adventure for somebody that age. But my favorite role of all time is Myra, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, of course. Yeah, so that was, you know, a five-year journey with one character, and that, you know, you better love that character because I love with them. So, and also when I was a kid, I guess, in that sense, I know we're deviating from horror movies, but I used to play cowboys and Indians, and I was always the cowboy, which is kind of interesting. And my sister was always the damsel in distress, so I was always the cowboy, and she was always the damsel in distress. We didn't have Indians in our little scenarios. So I think that, I do think that in life, it's possible that maybe you do manifest your destiny in some weird way, you know? I don't know about the horror part, I don't know how that happened. But here we are,
Yes.
and I'm happy to be here, very happy to be here, so.
We're very happy that you are here.
So am I.
And Monique, what was your favorite role?
That's also pretty tough. I would have to say it was between, okay, here comes the titles. Bachelor Party in a Bungalow of the Damned and Shakespeare Shitstorm. Now, I'm going to choose Bachelor Party in a Bungalow of the Damned because a lot of people don't really know the story. I got that role from Craigslist. Now, I would never recommend that. However, I saw it and I said, this sounds too good to be true. It said, you know, actress dropped out, need an actress. And I asked him, I asked my husband, well, should I do it? And he was like, well, I'm gonna go with you, and if there's a problem, somebody's gonna have an issue. And I was like, okay, so, you know, so it started out as a bit part. Once I got there and started like talking about everything, my role expanded to the point where I became, I say the co-star, my husband says the star. But I had to also put on 10 hours of makeup. I had to sit there during a process of 10 hours of makeup from my boobs up.
Wow.
And my boobs had teeth and my bed. Like, and then the whole day,
We have to all go see this guy.
it's like 10 hours. And so when I had to eat, you had to put the straw through the nostril thing to put it down into my mouth so that I could eat. And by that time I was really, really angry. So I played my character so well because I was mad that everybody else was eating in front of me and I couldn't eat real food. Now, Shakespeare Shitstorm, on the other hand, was something different because I had heavy dialogue because it's based on The Tempest. And I played a character named Caliban, who in Tempest is actually a black man. And Lloyd Kaufman thought that I would play a strong female lead. And I had to learn fight choreography, which I'm a wrestler, so that was easy to do. And just it was so dialogue heavy. It was my it's my heaviest film. And then I just really enjoyed it. So those two, I would say.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, this is going to be kind of a think about this for a second one. So even though we're talking about horror, of course we're not just talking about horror,
Right.
but you've all had your certain ways to die, you know, whether it's been the pipe through the mouth when you're dead, spewing out forever, or whatever the case may be. What are you actually really afraid of? What are your fears? What would what would you say is a phobia?
I gotta think about that.
Well, I can answer pretty quickly because I had an experience, but I'm claustrophobic. I'm intensely claustrophobic, and the reason is, and I have a terrible fear of heights, and there's stories behind both of them. The claustrophobia comes from the fact that when I was 5 years old, your parents tell you don't run out in the street after a ball, and I was out in the back alley playing with friends, and I got a splinter in my finger, and we lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment building, and I had this splinter in my finger, and I was like, oh God, this hurts, and I crawled up the stairs, banged on the door crying, I got a splinter, and my father opened the door, he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I got a splinter in my finger, and he was like furious, right, because his heart was racing. He took the splinter out of my finger, and off I went again, and you know, maybe not 10, 15 minutes later, the ball went out in the street, and I ran after it, and just the classic thing. I got hit by a car, and I do remember climbing like a horror movie. Actually, this is the most horrific part of my life. Climbing up those stairs again. It was a very different experience. I couldn't yell as loud, you know, because I had blood just dripping on every step. And a little meek knock on the door, and he's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Ah!" Anyway, because I was only 5, I had to get wrapped like a mummy in order to get the stitches in my head. And the doctor was so mean. His name is Dr. Shermer. He's probably dead now, seriously. And he was like, oh, you're such a screamer. Maybe that's why I ended up on my Lady Valentine. Yeah, you have to have lungs to be a scream queen. That's one thing for sure. To be a good scream queen, you have to have lungs. But anyway, so I ended up with claustrophobia. And then for the fear of heights, I was doing a movie called Night Flyers, and I was very excited about doing my own stunts, and one of them was falling from 20 feet down into an airbag, which I trained for with one of the greatest stuntmen of all time. I can't remember his name now, or I'd tell you what it was. But when we got to so I trained for this thing, but when we got to the movie set, this is, you all know, with independent movies, things changed rapidly, and they couldn't do it at 20 feet, so they had to rig it at 40 feet. And 40 feet and 20 feet, very different.
Whoa.
Very different. And I was bullied into doing it at that point because I was looking down going, whoa, that's a long way. And I did fall into the airbag, but apparently, because I have some ballet background, that I was way too controlled, so it didn't look frightening. So they had me do it again, and I remember climbing up like those stairs, the rigging stairs, and at about 35 feet, I had 5 more feet to go, and I'm like, please roll those cameras, because I had no energy left, and I just fell. And that time I did fall without any control whatsoever and kind of cracked my neck. I was sure I was dead. I fell into the airbag, and I'm like, I'm dead. I was sure, because I heard everything like just crack, and then apparently I wasn't dead. And I didn't know for probably a couple of years that I had a fear of heights, but I got on a Ferris wheel, and I suddenly was at the top of the Ferris wheel, and I was absolutely certain that I was flying out of the Ferris wheel. Like, my friends had to take their belts off and wrap them around my body, and then tie them to the Ferris wheel thing, so that I could see that I was tethered. Wow. That is how strong that thing was. So yeah, after that I started sticking up for myself, and now I'm a little mean about it. I'm no, I'm not doing it.
It's not mean, it's just...
Yeah, no, you have to really,
have
like,
right.
people don't, you have to, but you always feel bad sticking up for yourself. You do feel bad. You try to do it in a nice way, but people will push your defenses, so,
Yes.
I apologize if I seem mean.
Nope. Protecting yourself.
There you go.
Self-care. is-
Absolutely.
If people think it's mean,
Yeah.
then that's their problem.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Those are my 2 stories. I gave you guys lots of time.
You did.
Well, mine used to be fear of flying, but my husband helped me kind of cure that, and acting and whatnot. But believe it or not, it's fear of eating shellfish, like having shellfish cross-contamination or whatever, because I literally died. Now, it sucks because I have a love-hate relationship with shellfish. I love shellfish, but I'm scared of it because I technically died once eating a bite of shrimp.
Really?
1 bite. I woke up in the hospital with the corset that I had on cut open, and he said, yep, you died, Mo, and they brought you back, so let's cut this shellfish stuff out, please.
Wow.
And so now I get scared, but I try not to show it. But also I'm severely allergic to bees, which is funny since my brother had a bunch of them in his mouth. Candyman. One bee sting could potentially kill me. So I have a fear of these things, and I've been trying to talk to the bees. I know I sound really crazy, but I'm just a horror actress. So I talk to the bees like, listen, you stay over there and I stay over here. I love life and you love life too. You don't want to die, right? So let's stay in our own separate spots.
Yeah.
But really, I'm scared shitless, crapless. Foolish. You?
Right?
You did say Shakespeare shit stuff.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's the name of the movie. It's the name. I'm sorry.
Rita.
I had a couple fears when I was younger. I've actually learned to cope with them. One of my major fears when I was younger was spiders. I overcame that. I did. It took a lot. I overcame it. Actually, my other half actually helped me overcome it to realize that they're not out to get me. They're not coming to kill me. They're not gonna be as big as a house because that's all my nightmares were ever about. But my biggest fear now in life is it's really horrible because I will talk to directors that I work with. I cannot be strangled.
No.
Do not put your hands, do not have anything
Yep,
around
I
my
do that.
neck.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I will hit you. I will punch you. I will kick you where it counts. Don't touch my neck. I will die any other way other than my neck. I do have a minor fear of heights, and it's not so much heights, it's the fear of falling.
Yeah, well, that is what it is. It's a fear of falling for sure.
And it stems from my sister and a Ferris wheel, and the old bucket Ferris wheels.
Oh,
She spun it almost all the way around.
Oh my gosh.
So I will never get on one.
Oh my
Never.
gosh.
I can't even climb a ladder to get on my roof. Because it's like, no. Nope. Nope. No. But they're my main fears.
Well, I only have one more question, and then we'll open it up to you guys. We'll start with, well, you know, we've been starting with the ends.
Yeah,
Why don't we
start
start
back.
with you, Alan? We'll let you start with this one. What advice, if any, would you give to somebody who is deciding to get into acting?
Who are you asking me?
Yes, you're first.
Oh, asking first. Okay, because I have lots of advice. So I don't want to take up all the rest of the time. If somebody is interested in getting into acting, you know, it is the quintessential truth that it is an incredibly difficult and challenging career. You have to have a strong soul and a strong spirit because you're going to get a lot of rejection. You're going to get a lot of rejection. People are going to try to tell you that you're too much this and you're not enough that. And all the time. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't get better as you get more experience, or even, you know, Julia Roberts experiences it. Everybody experiences it, and you're really putting yourself out there. So you have to really want to be an actor, and you have to maybe, in my case, have a good reason. My reason for being drawn to acting has given me the strength and the courage to go through a lot of the rejection that we all go through, and maintain a sense of self that is separate from the work and separate from the opinion that people may or may not have of me. And so develop a strong sense of who you are, maybe write it down, be very, very clear on who you are, because when you are an actor, people are going to be trying to tell you who you are. And a lot of it may not be good. But acting is a really wonderful career as well. I mean, there's fantastic things about acting, about connecting with an audience, about connecting with the people that you're working with, about filling out the words of a story, about imbuing a character with a soul. And those are the things that speak to me about acting. And I think I don't regret any of this journey. And I know that the most important thing is, if you really, really want to be an actor, the most important thing is to keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
just keep going.
Definitely important.
Yeah, I think with anything in life, if you have a dream, never let anybody take it from you.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to open an ice cream store, just never let anybody take that dream for you. I really do believe, for myself, that you make your destiny, but that your destiny is available to you. The challenge in life is to not listen to the bullshit that comes in between you and your destiny. Just believe in your destiny, whatever it may be, and just pursue it. This is a short journey, and we were talking about that. This is a really short journey, so geez, do not regret a thing. You know, I always think about, when I look back on my life, how am I going to feel, and I try to have as little regret as possible. Regret is inevitable because we're going to make mistakes.
Yep.
But I never want to wish I had done something wish I had attempted something. Failure is so seminal to being successful with yourself personally or in life. Failure is a part of that, and
You have to fail in order to succeed.
That's right.
Just definitely.
yeah. So that's my thing. Okay.
I agree with everything she said.
Now you have to add
Oh, I'm gonna add something. But yeah, it's for me, it's about passion and persistence. Definitely, as a Black woman in horror, I was told there's like no Black women in horror, or unless it's like in the background or what have you. I've been told so many things and so many reasons why I couldn't do this. If I have kids, I can't be an actress. I have 10 children, and I've done over 200 film and television projects because I did not allow anybody to tell me what I could and couldn't do. Is this business hard? Hell yes. My God, there's been nights of crying and him telling me to keep going and whatnot. But it's amazing as well. Just, like you said, I love being able to connect with the character, being able to, I love being in front of the camera and becoming someone or something else. It's almost like, for me, I take a little bit of a break from my reality to create this reality to connect with you, the audience. It's one of my favorite things to do. But it's really, really hard to get into when you're just, trying to hit the pavement. I've done tons of extra work. When I do extra work, when they call for lunch, I'm still watching everybody. I'm watching what everybody does. I want to know everything. I talk to people. If I can talk to the director, I just do everything. I probably shouldn't have, but I talked to Mario Van Peebles when I did a spot on Law and Order, and nobody else was talking to him, and I was just like, this is so exciting, I love this, and we started talking, and I ended up doing 2 roles on that one episode, which you're not even supposed to do, but I showed him all of the stuff that I had, but it was about that passion and that persistence, and like she said, you're gonna get a lot of so many no's before you get a yes, but you have to keep going. You have to know a sense of self. You really have to be confident in yourself and what you want to do, and go, okay, I don't care if this person says no. Somebody told me before that my boobs were too big to do a certain film, and I was like, okay, so am I supposed to what, chop them off? I don't know, how am I, how do you tell somebody? It's the ridiculous things that I get told. And that I couldn't do this film because, I wasn't blonde, which they didn't want to say, you're not white, so they said, you're not blonde. I was like, well, I have a blonde wig, will that work? And it's like, no. So, it's about those things, just keep going. I've always had a hunger for this. So even though I've had nights on the floor crying, or nights where I thought that I couldn't do this, I don't need the fame. I just want to be able to do what I love and have it be my 9 to 5, and I've accomplished that so many times over, and that's all I want to continue to do. Yep. That's it.
The only thing I have to add to what both.
I have nothing left now.
No, I actually do have one thing to add is, yeah, you're gonna get the rejections, all the criticism. I mean, me personally, I get the criticism because I'm a bigger girl. I'm thicker, I'm fluffier, but I love my curves, and I work with them, and I make them work with me. My biggest thing to tell somebody that wants to get into the business, don't compare yourself to anybody else in the business.
Amen.
You are you,
Yeah.
they are them.
Yeah.
You cannot be them. You have to be you and be true to who you are and what you want to do with your career.
In the back there, second row, I think.
Guys, you were all referred to as Scream Queens, which means you have achieved a level of honor within the horror community. But you're showing yourselves here today, which means you're not too good to be around us, which is awesome. So my question is, has there ever been only the red M&M's moment? Tell us about a time when you went diva. Tell us about a time when you went diva.
Oh. Only red M&Ms, oh God, who did that? I'm dying to know.
That's an old Van Halen story.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
oh,
remember
got it.
that story, but
I don't know that I have one.
Listen, Steve, if you were off. Yeah, and it was
All right,
also-
guys, questions?
I do have a diva story, and it actually makes me, it's the thing that makes me feel apologetic whenever I stand up for myself. But I was doing a movie in this is after Night Flyers and after discovering that I had developed a phobia from falling from 40 feet and not being able to defend myself. And also in that movie, you know, if a stunt person had done the movie, if they had done the stunt, they would have been paid per stunt. I wasn't even paid for one stunt, and I performed the stunt twice. So, you know, I was taken advantage of in a very great way. So I was doing a movie in South Africa, and they dug in and built some kind of well or whatever. I was supposed to fall down it. And I could see that it was not safe. I could see that it was not safe. There were twigs, you know, just sticking out. I don't even know. It was a really tough thing to do. Again, I was only in my early 20s, mid-20s then. It was very tough to insist that I wasn't going to do it. And I was treated. I was one of the leads in the movie. Well, I was the lead in the movie, but the way I was treated as soon as I stuck up for myself and insisted that I wasn't going to fall down that well that they had just built without stunt people or whatever, was really difficult. I was treated like a prima donna, and I was treated like a diva, and I was ruining the picture, and whatever number of things people will tell you to intimidate you, make you feel bad. And also word can spread, and people can say that you're difficult to deal with because you're actually sticking up for yourself and nobody else is there. But, you know, if you're in horror movies and you're going fast, the last thing you want is somebody to tell you that they're not going to walk through that door or run through that plate glass window, right? I mean, you're going to want somebody who's like, yeah, I'll do it, right? You don't want somebody that's going to cause a little problem. So, you know, it makes me feel bad to have to manage myself that way. But I think in the end, if people were to follow through with something, or I had to put myself in danger and actually have broken my neck falling that way, or, you know, skewered myself falling down a dark well, that they would have lived in deep regret, you know.
Yeah.
So I hate sticking up for myself, and every time I do, I feel terrible about it. I have to talk to my sister about it. I have to talk to my best friend about it. If my mother was still alive, I'd be talking to her about it.
I'll do it for you.
You know, it's very hard as a woman, especially, to stick up for yourself. I think people expect men to stick up for themselves, but they do not like it when women do. And you feel
diva.
you do. That's where you get
Right,
you
we
get
stick
that.
up for ourselves
Right.
for things that are gonna hurt us or make
Right.
us look
Right.
bad.
Yeah, you
In
get
any way,
you
you
get
get the reputation of being a diva, hard to work with.
yeah.
That's very
But if
true. I
a man
never
did
looked
it,
at it
they'd be fine.
that way. That's crazy. I'm glad you stuck up for yourself.
Yes.
First of all, I don't know if he would agree, but the only diva moment that I remember having didn't even involve me directly. It was a movie that shall not be named that never came to light because we shut it down. Why did we shut it down? Because this guy had people doing stunts, no insurance, no stunt coordinators, no doctors, nobody on set, and wanted this new actress whom I love to jump off of a cliff.
What?
Yeah, just jump off the cliff. We're gonna make sure you're safe. Jump into the water. What? No, this is not happening. We are not gonna do this. Went to the other Scream Queens because there were 5 of us, and we all agreed not to do one damn thing until he got some insurance got some people that, knew what they were doing, because this girl was about to jump off the side of this cliff because she didn't want to say no.
She didn't want to say
She was afraid to say no, and somebody had to draw the line. So the two of us, the two Scream Queens that are told that they were responsible for shutting his production down, but his whole everything is shut down. He's a pizza guy now, so that just goes to show
Right, but on
what
the
had
set,
to what had to happen. But it was really like I was infuriated because I was like, this woman would have done this under different circumstances and possibly died.
Right, right.
Because she was uncomfortable with saying, no, that has to change. That really has to change. It really does. We have to feel more comfortable about speaking out without being called a diva and whatnot, because we want to safeguard ourselves. We are our brand. We are, I mean, it's us, it's our lives. We should be able to speak on it without being called a diva. And now I'm going somewhere else, so I'm shut up now.
No, I mean, I think that's the thing we're discovering, is that you get called a diva for something that is actually something we should be allowed
It's
to
not
do.
the
It's
red-
an act of intimidation.
It's not the red M&M issue.
It's
It's not. So that was a good question, because I just got angry for 1 second. I just had to take it all the way back down.
I
Lord.
know, I'm with you. Yeah.
Got another question?
She
Wait,
can
she
answer that
That's
question.
right.
But she said I have a moment that I can know I'm
I'm
good.
sticking up for somebody.
Yeah.
I've stuck up for myself. I've stuck up for a friend of mine who has seizures when she was on set, and ended up taking her off set and never working with the director again because he did everything lighting wise to cause the seizure.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So I guess I was a diva when I knocked over the light set.
So, no red M&Ms ever, you guys never seen?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
all right.
And maybe the red M&M story isn't really a red M&M story. Maybe there's something behind it that we don't know.
You never know.
Maybe he's allergic to red M&Ms. I don't know.
That could be.
Another question?
It was Wayne's World.
The girl with the white t-shirt.
Have you guys ever, have you ever had to stop filming a scene because you got nervous or stage fright and you couldn't do the scene?
Damn.
No, but I'll tell you something. It's really weird. It's never happened to me on a movie, and it's never happened to me really professionally. But what is really weird is it happened to me. I was au pairing in Maine somewhere for the summer, and I was working for the ministers, the ministerial family, and they were very big in that little summer camp town that we were in. And they produced a little community theater, and the wife was doing the can-can, and so she had a bunch of girls, myself included, I was just her au pair, doing the can-can. And there was so much pressure, and there were these rehearsals that we went through, like it was the military, and it was like crazy, and I got the feeling that this was super, super, super important. And the day of the show, I got a stomach ache. I got this just cramp in my stomach. I doubled up and I could not do the show. And it was beyond my control. It was a physical thing. I didn't mentally feel like I was frightened at all. But it's very clear what happened. The amount of pressure that this woman put on this community theater thing got to me, and I just couldn't do it. So I wasn't able to do the show. So yeah, that was stage fright, but it was not because, so the lesson for me was, the pressure is the thing that gave me the fear. So if you can transform the feeling of pressure, you can maybe transform the fear, I don't know.
It's never happened to me on film, doing a movie or what have you, but it did happen once during a live wrestling show, because I also do wrestling, and it was live on Twitch, and there were like all of these people watching, and I was running Twitch, I was doing the photography, I had a wrestling spot, I had to go out, and I had to go out without my daughter for the first time, because normally we come out as a valet team, And when I got to the spot where I was supposed to come out, I just forgot everything and started freaking out. And I almost had like an anxiety attack because I didn't have my daughter. I was running Twitch, so I knew how many people were watching. And I was like, holy crap, this is because it's wrestling. And it was just, I don't know what happened to me. I just froze for a second. So I missed my initial spot going out. But I think it was Sandman. It was like, Monique, get out there. Or something like that. And I just like kind of snapped out of it. And then I went out. Now, I forgot my entire spot, so I made it up. Because it was live, it's like theater. I made everything up, and then when I was wrong, I was just like, no, okay. And I was just, so I made it work though. It was still good, it was still great, but I don't know why, but I got anxiety. I really don't know why.
Other than high school and theater, having stage fright, I've never had to stop filming or anything. We've had to take a couple takes because other actors have gotten afraid to take swings at me or hit me with objects and actually leave bruises. And they had the stage fright of whether or not, am I actually going to hurt her? But only high school drama was the only stage fright I had.
Good question.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a good
very
question.
good question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to dispense with my dirty questions because I'm starting to run short. So my question for you three ladies is obviously you do the horror thing and you've done other things that are not quite horror related. So what's the one kind of role that you want to do that you have not had the opportunity to do yet?
Interesting.
Something super comedic. I love comedy too. I want to like do like a Lucille Ball type role. I don't know. I'm just silly. I'm goofy by nature. I just want to do something like that. Just totally non-horror, all comedy, where I'm just the goofy one. That's it. That's all.
I want to do something action, like Jason Statham action.
Oh, shoot. That's a lot of action.
Uh-huh.
You went to the extreme action.
I do. I want to go to the action, Yes.
I'm more like you.
Yeah.
I want to be a superhero or an anti-hero. I really do. I want to I want to do some kicking, punching.
Yeah.
I want to fly in the air. I want to. I really do. I really want to be.
Scream Queen anti-hero.
Yeah, right.
I want to be in one of those a superhero movie. I want to be, or it could be kind of like an end of the world survival story. Fight the monsters kind of thing.
Can we just all be in a Marvel movie?
Can we do that?
Can we arrange that?
I mean, can we get
Can we
Ryan
just
Reynolds?
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll work
be
with
down
Ryan
for that.
Reynolds. There's some Deadpool. He hasn't
Okay.
started filming yet.
They'll call us. They'll call us at any
Yeah,
point
it's
in time
possible.
right now.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever wanted to be the killer?
Yeah.
I'm always the
all the
killer.
time.
Yeah, I'm the killer all the time anyway.
Okay, I mean, rather than the heroine, be the Pamela Voorhees, so to speak, the surprise ending where you realize this crazed person, this crazed woman.
The heroines are written really, really, they're writing better heroines than they were, but I've never been a damsel in distress type.
I've never been a heroine. I've just always been the bad guy. Like, people want me to kill, murder, and film. And I'm like, I don't know why.
I just want to live. I would like to survive.
So you still have to be the final girl.
I do
Yes,
want to be
the
the
final
final girl. And
We just
yes, I
talked
would
about
love to be the killer. I have auditioned for multiple companies to be the killer, and I'm not right sometimes.
Yeah,
Well,
not
there
right.
is that genre where the final girl becomes the killer to track down the killers.
That's
So-
right,
Uh-huh.
that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any more questions? Please.
Question for Monique. Do you have a particular memory for being involved in the whole trauma world that you really love? Maybe even with Lloyd Kaufman in particular?
It's always with Lloyd Kaufman. So I did, Return to Newcomb High. So Lloyd had me in mind for that film. I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see it?
I did.
Okay, so you know what I was wearing. Okay, nobody else know. Okay, so he tells me I have this role, and I'm like, cool. I will do almost anything for Lloyd because, he's responsible for my career, but not only that, I love the guy. I don't mind nudity for certain people.
Mhm.
And for him, I will do that. But anyway, he was like, okay, it's this day or whatever, and I kept asking about wardrobe. Nobody told me about wardrobe. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna bring a variety of different things. So I was like, I have all of these different costumes, and they said, oh, we have a towel for you. And I said, all right, I know there's gonna be blood, but I have clothes. No, the towel's the only thing you need. For what? Oh, you don't have any clothes, this is a shower scene. I was like, excuse me? Like, I've been in shower scenes before, but I still had some clothes on. So, I agreed to this. After I talked to Lloyd, I said, I don't normally do this. There was the full nudity. He said, because we're doing the big spray gun, kind of like the Ichi the Killer, blood all over the place thing. And then when we did the scene, at first I felt uncomfortable, but then I was like, you know what? Again, I'm just naked. I got blood on me and I got a towel. Then they gave me a fake phone and they were like, okay, so you have to put this phone away. I go, where? Where am I supposed to put the phone away if I'm not wearing any clothes? So I lifted up my boob and sat the phone up under there. And that was like, Lloyd came out and like he literally ran out and said, that is the most brilliant thing you've ever done. Oh my God, I love that. Just keep it under your boob. Just keep it there. Said, as a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's have her do this or take a picture and then just lift her boob up and put it. So he created, Lord, I can't believe I actually did this. But this happened in real life and he's seen the movie, so he should know. That is like one of my best memories with Lloyd. I wouldn't have done that for anybody else, but Lloyd has never taken advantage of me. And if I didn't feel comfortable, he would just say, okay, we'll get somebody else or whatever, and no hard feelings or anything. So that's what I love about Lloyd. But he is crazy, but he's brilliant at the same time. So that's like my favorite. That's weird.
We have time for one more quick question.
Oh, they never answered. Oh, he said.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But he
You know
did
what?
say specific. Oh God. Oh,
Well,
geez.
that was named for you.
Specifically for you.
Okay. Say it.
Have any of you ever been so into a character you took the character home with you?
First of all, I'm gonna need you to stop personally attacking me.
I was asking the panel.
Okay, so they can answer this question because you already know the answer. So
But the rest of us don't.
When I was on Dr. Quinn, when I was on My Bloody Valentine, the lead actress and I were both blonde. We both had long hair and we were both blonde. And so, of course, she was the lead, so I had to change my hair and cut it and dye it and all of that. And you've seen, I'm a cute little page boy in the movie. And I thought I'd one-up myself and just bring the clothes the character would wear to Nova Scotia. So I packed my suitcase with all of Sylvia's things. I was going to be Sylvia 24/7. And then I got there and there were some really cute boys on set. I was so regretful. Because Sylvia's adorable, but she's not at all hot or sexy or anything. So I had a really boring time. And then when I was on Sweet Murder, which was a South African movie that was remade by, anyway, it doesn't matter. My character was so devious, and she was also very unattractive. She had stringy hair and glasses, and she just, and I couldn't get rid of the character. Like, it didn't matter. I could walk into dinner with a ball gown on, but they were all convinced that I was that creepy character, and I was very lonely. Nobody wanted to sit with me or talk to me. I was the creepy killer. So I don't know, I didn't take it home with me deliberately, but I was stuck with it.
yeah, that's just as bad.
Yeah, it's just as bad. It was funny.
Rita?
Well, I didn't take home the character became who I was. In one of my first films, well, not first, like fifth or something, it's called You're Fucking Dead. It's working still around the film circuit, the film festival circuit. Haven't seen it but once. My character was a female entertainer. They chose me for that role because that's what I did. So I lived my character and just continued to live my character. I'm like, so I'm at work.
What character did I take home?
I'm not on the panel.
No, I just need you to tell, like, I need to know which one.
Okay, the one I remember the best
Right.
is the character from Triad.
Oh, but she was a badass. But we have a lot of kids.
Excuse
Okay.
my English. She was an angry militant bitch. And we went directly from set to a restaurant where you scared all the waitresses.
I did.
They kept
I'm not gonna lie.
switching tables to avoid you because they thought you were gonna beat the hell out of them.
I just wanted service the way we were supposed to have it.
And I don't want to stop it, but there's another panel happening in 2 minutes.
All right. Gotta get out of here. Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.